BCOS, eminent Nigerians hails Peter Side's book offering on leadership recruitment. Omitosin, NDLEA Zone 9 commander, has said that wants parents to monitor their children, very important, and we come to page 36. 2027 report of any PDP faction pushing Wike to run against Tinubu is fake. That's according to an aide, says for Wike, it's Tinubu till 2031. All right, Oyebanji rules out mediocrity politics in Ekiti civil service. And we'll come to the back page, the sports page. Under 17 World Cup, can Flamingos break jinx for Africa? The stories there, World Cup playoffs. Don't start Ekpang, Olise wants Chile. Eagles rise in FIFA ranking. WAFCON qualifier Madugu names Ajibade Oshuolola, 19 others for Benin clash. Atlanta boss set fresh target for Lookman. That story is equally there. And the last one, Forbes, Ronaldo's tops highest paid list. And that's all we have on the front page of the Saturday Tribune for this morning. Over to you from me.
All right, on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning is a story on page 4 says, genocide. Boko Haram, ISIS killing more Muslims than Christians. And that's coming from Trump advisor. The writer says, U.S. satisfied with Tinubu's handling of farmer-herder conflict, pledges support. Key ADC members to join APC soon, and that's coming from Yul Watda. Party strong enough to manage defectors' expectations. And that's coming from O2. That story is also on page 4. And on page 3, withheld local government funds, Osun AG applies to withdraw suit against CBN AGF. Claims APC's council officials' tenure expired October 16. Omokri mobilizes support for Dangote refinery. That's on page 6. Uzodinma, Tinubu's policies making Nigeria rich again. Fiscal reforms yielding results, says APC Governors Forum. And that story is on page 7. And lastly, on page 14 is an entertainment story on Motola. I shot my first film under pressure. And that's all on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. Taking some of the inside stories now, starting with stories on page 2. Police smash vicious interstate robbery gang, recover vehicles, firearms. EFCC's witness confirms receiving, transferring $3 million to Aisha Achimogu's firm. That story is on page 2. U.S. Embassy issues security alert ahead of Free Nnamdi Kanu Now protest in Abuja. Demolished police properties, Wike angry over arrest of FCTA officials. And lastly, on page 3, we have NAPE, and that's the National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers, challenges Kalu to provide proof of alleged drug use by pilots. And on page 6, Abbas advocates combined military, political, judicial actions to end insecurity. I hold no grudges against anyone, Fubara declares. Omokri mobilizes support for Dangote refinery. And moving on to page 7, Tinubu's policies making Nigeria rich again, and that's coming from Uzodinma. Ekpe local government unveils 10 million naira business grant for vulnerable youth. Lagos APC faults planned protest over Kanu. Moving on to some of the backstories where we have, on page 30, Oborevwori seeks NDDC's partnership to fix Niger Delta Road. World Food Day, Bayelsa procures modern rice processing machines, trains youth farmers. And taking some of the sports stories now on the back page of the Nation newspaper on page 31. NFF back Chell to keep Super Eagles post. And lastly, we have Ajibade Okoronkwo nominated for CAF Women's Player of the Year. And that's all we have on the Nation newspaper this morning. Jadisola.
Yes, thank you very much, Christine. And of course, we go to the governor's activities. That's what we have on the lineup right now. Governor's activities. Join us as we go into his activities for the week.
Addressing newsmen at the event, the state governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, noted that natural resources alone cannot take the state away from poverty, adding that knowledge and productivity are necessary to complement the effort. The governor lauded the commitment of African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, team in making the implementation strategy a success in line with the Oyo State Accelerated Development Agenda and Sustainable Development Agenda of its Omitutu 1.0 and 2.0.
Once we want to start implementing this, we have from day one opportunities that we will go after. And if we can have our youth, our graduates coming out, to be gainfully employed, we will have gone a long way. We want to take the opportunity to reach out first, even as the neighboring countries, West and Central Africa. It's a huge population, and the rest of Africa, because our airport right now, we just landed a wide-body A330. It's exactly the same aircraft that Virgin Atlantic uses to service their Lagos-London route.
Earlier in our welcome address, the Special Advisor to the Governor on International Trade and Africa Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, Ms. Neil Taselu, appreciated the Governor for his effort in making Oyo State the first subnational, not just in Nigeria, but in the entire African countries, stressed that his visionary leadership made the realization of Oyo State economic development. She explained that the post-engagement is a statutory administrative process following the launch of the implementation strategy, which pronounced Oyo State as a part of the African Continental Free Trade Area to engage within the Africa continent of AFCFTA framework.
One of the short-term deliverables within the strategy, it is also an administrative statutory process that has to be done. The World Trade Organization insists that every nation should have a trade portal. Nigeria has a trade portal. Oyo State, within the framework of the AFCFTA, will have a trade portal within our very short-term deliverables of the strategy. So this trade portal will be able to enable yourself or the private sector to be able to access information, including the strategy itself.
The event had in attendance the Chief of Staff, Honorable Segun Ogunwuyi, the Head of Service, Mrs. Olubumi Onui, Special Executive Advisor to Governor Makinde on General Duties, Chief Bayo Lawal, the Director General of Oyo State Public-Private Partnership Agency, Honorable Tilewa Folami, among other dignitaries. Ahead of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) National Convention, scheduled for November 15 and 16 in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, members of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Convention Committee conducted an inspection tour of facility at Lake Salami Sports Complex at Damasigba, Ibadan, and the Samuel Ladoke Akintola International Airport, Alakia. Speaking with journalists after the inspection, the chairman of the committee and governor of Adamawa State, Amadu Fintiri, expressed satisfaction with the level of preparedness and commended the Oyo State government for its support and readiness to host the event. He particularly appreciated Governor Seyi Makinde for his unwavering commitment to the party.
We are fully ready and prepared for the convention coming on the 15th and 16th of August November, and we're here to have on-the-spot assessment of the venue for the convention in Ibadan. And the stadium is where we're going to use as the convention ground. And I think what I've seen is quite impressive and is excellent. What is remaining is for us to dot the I's and cross the T's, and I think we're good to go.
Addressing recent defections from the PDP, Governor Fintiri reassured party members that the PDP remains a strong and united force and more determined than ever to reclaim power in 2027. The inspection exercise is part of the committee's ongoing effort to ensure a smooth and successful national convention. After several
All right, that was Governor's activities during the course of the week, and we also apologize for that technical glitch. It's time for Travelogue now, and we will be looking at Zamzam water. Stay with us.
ancient mythology tells the tale of how Prophet Ibrahim relocated his second wife, Hajara, and her infant son, Ismail, to a desert that has now become the Muslim holiest city, Mecca, as commanded by Almighty Allah. According to history, the mother, Hajara, and her son, Ismail, who had left stranded in the desert, were thirsty and tired, and after the mother ran severally in search of water in the desert, a source of miraculous water sprang up at the feet of her son to satiate them, and this became known as Zamzam water. This water is known as Zamzam water, as Hajara called out, Zum Zum, stop, stop, as the water kept flowing, in fear it will run out. Today, the Zamzam well is one of the most visited places in Islam and considered one of the rewards of Hajj and Umrah. Zamzam tap are located in strategic places in Aram Mosque in Mecca. Likewise, it is supplied to the Prophet Muhammad's mosque in Medina and are distributed in thousands of water containers and bottles to the worshippers. Speaking with BCOS News, an Islamic prophetic medicine practitioner, Mr. Muhyiddin Olawi, described Zamzam water as a natural gift and blessing from Almighty Allah.
Zamzam is a kind of the water you must have in your home, no matter how the amount. You must make sure that you have it. Even a breastfeeding woman to breastfeed their baby for 6 months, I will advise, it's not Islamically proven. I'm just advising people, if you want to give, the first water you need to give your child after 6 months, let it be Zamzam. So that to make them what? To improve their cognitive aspect in life when they are facing. If you are taking Zamzam, you'll be very okay and you will be very all right when you are taking Zamzam. According to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when you are drinking Zamzam, you can use Zamzam to cure any kind of disease in your body. Let your intention be that if you want this, just spray it on the Zamzam and you can use it to drink it and use it to rub your body. Zamzam water is odorless, is tasteless, and is also what? Is also the color is just a natural one.
An Islamic scholar and former HOD, Arabic and Islamic Studies, University of Ibadan, Professor Wale Abbas, also spoke on the spiritual benefit of the sacred water.
People use it for a lot of things. We use it for ablution. That's spiritual too. It's good for ablution. People use it for ablution in the haram. People use it to quench their thirst. People use it for a lot of things. But people use it to cure themselves of many diseases. We have had practically people have used this to cure diseases. I've heard that some people who are blind, they use it and the eye came back to function. People who had cancer, we have heard that they use it to cure the cancerous part of their body. So a lot of things. Is a miracle, is a gift from Allah. So, yeah, and that is why when people go on Hajj, you will want to bring whatever quantity home. And it is said that in one of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that when you have that Zemzem at home, all these evil spirits cannot just attack your home. That many Muslims do. I do. You can't get to my house anytime and you don't find Zemzem water. No, there is there. So that's the spiritual aspect. People use it to cure a lot of ailments. And particularly all these our alphas who specialize in what they call jalabi, they use it. Anytime they want to do hantu, they prefer it because they know better, because they are seriously vast in that aspect. They know better that it's not an ordinary water. It's an extraordinary water put in place by Allah himself, and nobody knows the source. It has no properties like any other water.
In a nutshell, Zamzam is a blessing from Almighty Allah to Mecca and its pilgrims. One of Zamzam's most outstanding characteristics is that it never dries out. Each year, millions around the world drink Zamzam water while performing Hajj and Umrah, and it is also supplied in huge quantities across the world. If you have friends or family members traveling to Saudi Arabia for Hajj or Umrah, don't forget to ask them to bring back Zamzam water for you upon their return. Olalekan Sulaiman, reporting for Saturday Special.
This is the source of Osun River, located in Igede, Ekiti, Irekpodun, Ifelodun local government area of Ekiti State. What we noticed was that as we were coming, the more the worshippers were chanting the incantation of Osun, the heavier the rainfall becomes. There's no way we can talk about the celebration of Osun Osogbo without reference to the source of the river, which has become a world center of attraction with worshippers all over the world. The internationally recognized river actually had its source in a remote town of Igede Ekiti in Ekiti State. Igede Ekiti is the headquarters of Irekpodun, Ifelodun local government area of Ekiti State, with a population of about 129,000. According to 2006 population census. Igede Ekiti covers a landmass of about 3.8 kilometers and bounded in the north by Awo Ekiti. Ilawe Ekiti in the south, Inye Ekiti and Aramoko were located in Igede East and West. The topography of Igede Ekiti makes the place a watershed region. There are 16 major rivers in Yoruba land that had their sources in Igede Ekiti, while Osun River was just one of the 16 rivers. Elemi, Ogbese, Osun, Ogoga, Oba, Inansi, Ogburu, and Okunsusi are some of the rivers who had their sources in Igede Ekiti. History has it that all the 16 rivers are human beings and are children of one parent, Enido and Ake, who in the process of fighting for supremacy and testing the powers bequeathed on them by their parents, all of them turned into river, with Oshun becoming the most popular among them. The Oshun River, otherwise worshipped and adorned as Oshun Oshogbo, had its source from Igede Ekiti and flowed towards Aramoko Ekiti, Ijero Ekiti, Imesile, before its final settlement at Oshogbo, though its movement was also extended to Ibadan before heading to the Atlantic Ocean. The Yeyela-sun of Igede Ekiti, Mrs. Ayodele Ajiyegbe, on behalf of BCOS crew, reenacted the worshipping procedure of the Oshun in Igede Ekiti. In an interview at the Oshun Source, the Yeyela-sun said the Oshun Source has the spiritual power to heal whatever ailment is brought before her, coupled with ability to bless the barren.
àti gèdè yìí ni Ọ̀ṣun ti lọ sí gbogbo ibi tó lọ dé ìlú òyìnbó dé Òṣogbo òun ló dé Òṣogbo òun ló dé Ìjẹ̀ṣà òun ló dé ẹ̀rìn Ìjẹ̀ṣà àwọn ìlú pọ̀ tó dé àwọn ìlú ó dé Ọ̀bà gbogbo ibi ló dé kò síbi tí ìyá mi ò dé àwọn ìsọ̀gbè bíi mọ̀lẹ́bí wọn pátápátá ni wọ́n do omi ní omi kò sí omi tó ṣàn wá sí ìlú Ìgèdè ní gbogbo omi ti ṣàn lọ òkun gan ilé omi ni mo ti ń sọ yìí òkun gan orísun ẹ̀ wà ní ìlú Ìgèdè.
The Onigede of Igede Ekiti, Oba James Adelusi Aladesoru II, who has been on the throne for 60 years, also confirmed Igede Ekiti as the source of Osun River. He said the name Igede Ekiti was derived from the incantation being chanted by the 16 children of Enido and Ake, who later turned into rivers while contesting the powers of supremacy. Igede is a Yoruba word which a section of Yoruba also refer to as Ofo or Ogede in Oyo dialect. The Director General of the Ekiti State Council for Arts and Culture, Ambassador Wale Ojolanre, said the state government is set to preserve all the 24 sacred groves located in the Ekiti State as part of effort to ensure cultural sustenance and improve on tourist attraction.
The grove you have visited, the Osun Water, Ogun Onire, in fact, Orumila is from this place, it stays there. Then Eshu said, all those sacred places are being enlisted to be developed and we are really working on it. And let me tell you, there is even a budget for it. They have provided a special budget known as Art and Culture Intervention.
Ekiti is one of the states in the southwest region that is richly blessed with tourist potentials. Ability to harness such potentials could as well translate to financial blessings. Abiodun Akinkunle, BCOS News.
Breaking news. The home is under attack by stains, disease-causing germs, and so much more. An all-out war. But not for long, because Hypo is here.
Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Protect every day with Hypo.
Dirty and stains no be do shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go Hypo. Protect your home every day with Hypo. Cleaning every surface, sanitizing home. Shine every corner, enter every corner. Your sitting room, kitchen, even the toilets. For cleaning, Hypo now. No lose guard. Protect your home with Hypo now.
And just like that, the day is saved. Germs always find a way back.
No green. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo. What makes a true leader in the game? Is it being the first to start? For over a decade, one name has always led in front. That name is Bet Naija. Bet Builder, Bet Freeze, One-Up, Bet Boom. Not just features, but unbeatable odds on over 300,000 live matches. You're playing to win. Just another reason why Bet Naija is truly Nigeria's #1.
Some say learning is fun, but as a mom, I see how demanding it can be for my child. That's why I ensure
All right, thank you very much for staying with us. It's still Saturday special, and this morning we are looking at something, a conversation that has to do with emotion, logic, and so much more surrounding the topic this morning. We are looking at forgiveness, pardon, and justice. Jadusola, it's a whole lot to unpack, three different issues.
Yes, and I keep wondering why the three, were brought together. But trust me, very important.
And of course,
issues,
they are intertwined.
they need to be looked at and, separate them from one another. And so that's the more reason why we need to look at it this morning. And our guest on the list this morning, we have two guests in the studio. Our first guest is Comrade Emmanuel Ogundiran, who is a social commentator. You're welcome to the program this morning.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here again.
All right. We also have our second guest, Barrister Oluyemisi Ogunfayo Collins, who is a legal practitioner. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, good to have you here. All right. When we talk about forgiveness is a personal act of releasing resentment, while a pardon is an official legal act by only an authority. Justice is the formal system of law and accountability which can be distinct from forgiveness but should ideally work with it, as the two are not mutual exclusive. While pardon is extra legal power that may be abused, forgiveness is an individual capacity for an inner healing that allow people to release their hurt while others are still held accountable for their actions. Of course, looking at this conversation this morning, let me begin with Barrister Collins. Now, when we talk about forgiveness, we talk about pardon, and we talk about justice. They're all like brothers and sisters, but totally different. Tell us your view on the three.
Well, I believe that the concepts of forgiveness, pardon, and justice, they may be intertwined, but they are mutually exclusive. Each concept stays on its own. Sometimes because when it comes to forgiveness, you forgive a person. In fact, it is a concept whereby it goes beyond this is what you should do. It is emotional. It is personal. You want to forgive even without the person deserving it or deserving of it. So, and the two, it's kind of, in my own opinion, has its roots in religion and societal value. You tell somebody, forgive. Whether the person is deserving of it or not, let's go into the two holy books. Well, I'm a Christian. We always recite this
Lord's Prayer.
Our Lord's Prayer. And it is there that we forgive even as our Father in heaven forgives us. So it rules out the fact that the person, is deserving of. It kind of shows that you're matured enough, to extend olive branch, whether the person, sometimes you see, a lot of people will say, let the person show that,
sober.
He's sober, he has known what he has
remorseful.
Done. But he's remorseful about his act or his deed. But, forgiveness transcends that, in the sense that whether the person shows it or he doesn't show it, forgiveness heals. It is kind of, this has happened, but whether, at least to heal what is on ground, let me just forgive, let me let go. And forgiveness in its concept, it is both, to the person forgiving and to the person that has done wrong. You understand? It clears off every bitterness, and resentment. But when you talk of pardon, it's like you show mercy to somebody. And pardon is entrenched in our Constitution, in the sense that Section 175, talks about the executive power that a president has to extend mercy to somebody. And this also is a lot of time, it may be whether the person deserves it or not. Though, of course, there would have been recommendation as to, okay, this person is deserving of it and is placed before the president or, the governor, as the case may be. I think section 1212 also talks about the governor having that power, to grant pardon. And that is why that pardon is also otherwise known as prerogative of mercy. But when you now go to the concept of justice, you kind of saying the person deserves what he gets. Justice is like the legal aspect of fairness or the moral aspect of fairness. What you do based on what you have done, you get this, you are punished for it or you are let go after, some process are taking place. So somehow, some way, they kind of, intertwine as in, okay, when you do something, but justice kind of stand on its own in that whatever you get, whatever you do, you are deserving of what you get. But forgiveness is go and sin, irrespective of whether the person show remorse or not, go and sin no more.
Okay, let's quickly go to Comrade Ogundera. Comrade, these three words are there.
Yeah.
I need us to look at it critically. To my mind, if I have forgiven, then we don't need to go to court in the first place looking for justice. But again, in a society where there is no law, then there is no punishment. So there are laws that even when the person whom I have offended has forgiven me, the law must take its course. So let's look at it.
Yeah, the barrister has said it the formal way. The three concepts, they are distinct, but from the explanation from your intro, you see that they are interrelated. I don't want to go official, I want to go personal.
Okay.
You see that anywhere they say justice delayed is justice denied. That means what is due to somebody and you fail to give at the right time, you are denying that person. So, and like the barrister has explained, justice is there to give your due. If you committed an offense, you should be punished. And the other party that is deemed innocent should be protected. So that is the role of justice. Now, when you come to forgiveness, forgiveness doesn't mean you should not face what the punishment should be.
Mm-hmm.
You will see in Yoruba parlance, when your parents have disciplined you, they will now say, okay, go, you are forgiven. That means from that person's mind and heart, what has taken place that has meted out your reward to you, go. And you can only go, that word go, leads to pardon. You can only go because it is that person you have offended that has the right. So that party you have offended might be person or even the community or the society. So that links us to maybe what we are about to actually discuss.
Okay, let me come to Barrister now. Talking of pardon and justice, do you think it equates?
No, they may not equate. Okay. In the sense that, as you say, it is an obligation that is placed, this pardon concept, the obligation is placed on our executive. Like I've told you, the Constitution specifies it that at so time or any time that the president or executive president feels like granting that pardon based on what, recommendation that had been put before him, has that obligation to do it. You understand? So when you talk of, that pardon and justice, they may not really be related. Okay, let me give an example. For a person that is supposed to be punished by the law, that has committed an offense, and it comes before the court, and a prosecutor wants to, prosecute that case and get the person punished, then the complainant in the matter says, I am no longer interested. I don't want to even come before the court to talk about it. to talk about. If such a person, withdraws, is coming to court to tell the court, there is nothing the court can do than to say go. Because, of course, it's like a way. What is supposed to be before the court, for the court to say, okay, you have done this and that, the person to whom, that offense has been committed against refuses to come before the court. Then the court asks nothing before it, to do. In the concept of, and that is just, that may be, that is when, forgiveness meets, justice. Because the person will be released. And to the society that doesn't really know that a person has withdrawn, to talk about what had been done to him will be like, they've done kangaroo thing, they've done mago. How can they release him? You understand? But that aspect of it, that is when, forgiveness meets justice. But in terms of pardon, like you have asked, pardon is an obligation based on what has been put in our constitution, that a particular president or an executive governor must carry out.
But in the face of justice, now,
all right,
can a pardon be wrongly carried out?
Yes, of course. Of course it can. I want to cite the example, and I think maybe that is where this topic of yours comes out. This issue of Sandra, that actually killed the husband, and it's been generating furore, you understand, in our communities as to why should she be pardoned. Of course, she's been sentenced, but the issue is, like I said, this is a toga of obligation that a particular president wears, and when she's been recommended for that pardon, you understand, it has to be carried out.
Would it also mean that it was justice from our own end? I remember talking about this, behind cameras, and Jadisola said, something must have triggered her to have also killed the husband. There is no justification, for such acts.
Exactly.
But what if it was also a way of her also getting justice for what had probably been meted out on her, on her when her husband was alive?
Okay, see, she has passed through all that before the court. The court has passed a sentence that, and the court passed the sentence based on the overwhelming evidences that are placed before the court. So, in this wise, you cannot say that she did not get justice. Justice is what a concept of fairness. What is fair? You understand? The person that is dead, you should know, should get justice too. The society should get justice too, that the court has done the right thing. You understand? Yeah. So, in this wise, for her to now be, you cannot say she didn't get justice because, there has been a procedure, there has been processes in front of, while she was in court. She got to that stage where sentence was passed on her, that she was guilty of what had been done. But now, for emotion to be quelled, kind of, she must have been recommended somehow, some way, that she is deserving of that pardon. Probably by the fact that she had done, because I am not a correctional officer now. They have their indices, you understand, with which they say, oh, this person has shown remorse. She's remorseful enough to be able to get or be granted that pardon. And they have placed that before, the executive president, and he has granted that pardon. I always say that pardon, that is this prerogative of mercy, and justice, they may not be friends. Because, of course, justice means you deserve what you get. You understand? And this is pardon coming to say that I release you based on what they have been put, in on my table. So it may not really be that, the society now, based on what will be what will I say now, how the society feels about it does not come, into play. You understand?
I want to come to Comrade now.
All right.
I want us to take it from the roots. Let's look at the structure of Nigeria. Talking about justice. Barrister said justice can be said to be fairness.
Fairness, yes, the legal aspect of
But
fairness.
is Nigeria really fair? Let's start from there.
Anyway, justice in Nigeria is not fair. It's loaded, highly loaded. And because, you see, you won't blame those who carry justice. You blame what they rely on. You blame the source, and that is the Constitution. Our Constitution, and this is why many of us have been shouting. Look at when in a single garment, you have over 100 holes. And you still want to continue to patch the holes. At what cost? What will cost you to replace the garment as a whole, or you continue to patch? And that is what has led Nigeria to where it is today. And that is why a lot of us believe that judgment, which equates to justice, is always being procured. And it goes to the highest bidder. It goes to the most influential. The case that has been mentioned here, the issue of Sandra, I'm very sure people, it might not have generated this furore if the other party, the offended party, the aggrieved party, actually said, look, you are forgiven. You know, they will now say it is Sandra versus the state. Whatever. Barrister has said something like that. So, if the other party has said, okay, we are no more interested, you are forgiven. I'm telling you, if this prerogative of mercy included Sandra at this stage, it will not generate much. But a family, the other party is grieving, still grieving, and one is being released to freedom. No, that is not justice. That's why some of us, we believe that Mr. President miscarried that prerogative. And you see, I had said it on some platforms. I don't blame Mr. President totally. I blame him because he appended his signature, and whatever has been done by the previous committees, he now owns that document because of his signature. You won't find the signature of CJN or whatever on that last document that is released. It's the signature of Mr. President. So it becomes a document of Mr. President. So, in Nigeria, when you consider look at the issue of Kelvin too. Somebody that goes and breaks into the armory, take Nigeria, weapons that were procured using Nigerian taxpayers' money. You give it to people that uses it to kill. You yourself, you are a kidnapper. You kidnap, you kill, you demand ransom. And somebody will now say, because you are carrying Bible, Satan knows Bible more than so many Christians. And they say because you are carrying Bible, you are talking to people, and you should be free.
Okay, let's look at the issue of...
I really want to comment on something that Comrade has spoken about. You see, most of the time, this, just like we said, it is a responsibility.
That family comes out to say that. Look.
A lot of time they will not come. They will not come outside.
No, there are processes. Look, this thing we have demanded. We have demanded that process be investigated.
The process of prerogative.
Yeah, that led to those finalists, because the Fagbemi-led committee cannot just sit in the office and say these are people we actually wanted pardoned. No. They work in conjunction, because the representation of the representative of the correctional center will be there. And that means the Controller General of Correction. Now, there are process and procedures to pick those. And that's why I said, I just picked out one of them. When
Comrade,
you visit them...
I think we should ask Barrister now, just as Comrade has said, I know you might not be able to reel out those process and procedures, but maybe you just tell us some qualities that would be looked out in some of these people to say, oh, we would grant you pardon.
You see, that is why I said that there are lots that goes behind the scene that we don't see. You understand? Before, it is not just for the president to say, okay, I pardon this person, or the governor say, I pardon this person. There are stakeholders. In fact, in that, there is always a committee that is put on ground.
But do you think
for
at this point that is
recommendation.
bringing up so much issue in Nigeria, in the Nigerian space? Don't you think it's better for the committee or those in charge of it to come out and probably publish the procedures and let us know the reason why you're pardoning these people?
If the society
because when it
demands
keeps happening like this, people will expect those that should get justice, and that's why we say in Nigeria, most times we say that we really don't get justice. You're pardoning those you're not supposed to pardon, whereas there are people there who have not even gone through the court process at all, and they're in prison for years. What should we say about that?
No, see, the way we look at it, let's divorce emotion from processes. And I say that because, you see, there is a committee. The committee comprises of different, legs of people. We have, like you said, at the federal level, Controller General. We have NGOs that represent the common man or common men are there in that committee. So when they bring recommendation, you understand, they sit at meetings, they look at the names. Okay, why do you recommend this person? And that is why I said that the instances for recommendation still rest on the persons, at the correctional centers. We have even NGOs that also bring up names, that bring up names and say, okay, we have visited him in prison, he's been there for this, probably he's now leading the salats, the salats in their, at the prison's prayer ground, probably he's now the pastor in charge of, people at the prison, and they've seen that, oh, this person has shown, remorse. So there is X, Y, Z.
On the issue of Jadisola, sorry, please, on the issue of Sandra now, why do you think the pardon was granted? Was it because, she has behaved well so far, or because they've probably examined her medical or psychologically and they can ascertain that, even if she's going to get married again, she will not carry out such acts anymore?
The issue of Sandra has happened now because, is in the public sphere now, and that is why we're debating. There have been several other, matters before that people had been granted, that mercies, you understand? So the issue of Sandra now, the recommendations that has brought up before the committee that made, the president to grant him pardon. Of course, if we need to know, it should be in the public space that, okay, this is the reason why she has been granted pardon. It is not supposed to be hidden, from the society. But most of the time, we find it hidden because, of course, society don't demand for it. We just wake up and we hear that this also person has been released. I think most of the time, just like the comrade that said, let the society rise up to say, okay, this
we should begin to question the decisions of our leaders. We should begin to
ask questions. Okay, now this person has been released. What had been the requirements? But in my own view, you see, two wrongs don't make a right. In our own, like I said, that at the background, we may not know what had really transpired, what had happened. But of course, they have children. If she too, by concept of justice, she had been sentenced and she's executed like that. Don't forget that she was even pregnant while she was carried to prison, while she was going through that, the judicial process of the procedure of prosecution. So, and then in prison, she gave back to the baby, and they already had a baby. You understand that? Well, very much has shown, at the prison, together with some of these justice, even when it's disseminating or justice is trying to carry out fairness, should also have humanity
in it.
And that is why I feel, based on what had been recommended, with some other factors, she's now released.
Okay, let me come to comrade. So I want us to still look at the issue of Sandra, but very briefly, so we don't spend too much time on it.
No, let me go general first. Some of the potential grounds. One, applicant remorse and rehabilitation. Anybody can demonstrate remorse. Inmates' age or health. Yeah, some are released based on their age or health. Go. 3, this is where I want the potential for an injustice that was not addressed during trial. If such had been the case, prerogative of mercy, death sentence. If Mr. President want to do it, you don't carry from death sentence to freedom.
It goes to serving certain jail time.
Like from death sentence, you may say, okay, it's reduced to a number, maybe by the next anniversary or whatever. Then, but people are act because of the way it, and the number of criminals that were involved in the list. Drug barons, kidnappers, killers. Look, for you to know that Nigerians, some of us, we scrutinize on yearly basis that list.
Okay.
Now, I said that one. The next one, the proportionality of the sentence. That one is, when you consider the proportion of that sentence, death by hanging. And the next thing, you are pardoned, free.
So let's also
for so many of them, for so many of them, there are people that were caught for wandering, detention without trial and whatever. Those ones, they are always the first to be considered on that list. When you get to correctional center, look for all those things. And that is why I said, if that list actually emanated from the Controller General of Correctional
Center,
head should roll.
Okay, comrade, let's quickly.
That means he has actually misadvised the committee.
No, before we go into that, let's go on a commercial break. We need to pay some bills.
The concept
we need to
of
pay
pardon
some
goes
bills.
beyond justice. That is what I want to
kindly let us pay some bills.
Very well.
Yes,
Very well.
We'll be right back. Let's go on this commercial break.
All right.
Stay with us, don't go away.
In today's fast-paced world, staying ahead demands peak performance from our bodies.
Like never before, our bodies need an optimum supply of essential nutrients, and Supermalt supports our daily nutritional needs.
Supermalt has 20 essential vitamins, minerals, and natural extracts for overall health and wellness. One Supermalt a day gives you energy and vitality, improves your mental performance, and supports your immunity.
All right, welcome back. It's still Saturday special on the Broadcasting Corporation of your state. And of course, we're still discussing forgiveness, pardon, and justice. And our guests in the studio, of course, they've made the conversation very interesting. Comrade Emmanuel Ogundera, who is a social commentator, and Barrister Oluyemisi Ogunfaye Collins, who is a legal practitioner. Of course, before we went on that break, we're still talking about injustice, justice, pardon, and all the likes. Now, let's look at communal issues. There are cases in the community where you find someone who's known for stealing in the community, and somehow the person is taken to the police station, and the same community people, some of them, will come and beg on behalf of the young man. You've had cases of rape, and they know that this young man is known for raping girls. And the same community will gather, have a meeting, and still come to beg. Let me start with Comrade Ogundera. Why do we have a society of us coming this way?
I will not address that issue first. I will address the root cause. Had it been, we are not operating a unilateral constitution, a centralized constitution. During the regional days, there are ways in the Southwest. No, during the regional days, there were 4 constitutions. One for the Southwest, one for the Southeast, and one for the North. Later, 5, because of the extraction of Midwest from the Southwest, from the Western region. Now, the way in the Southwest they handle justice is not the way they handle it in the North. Where they use penal code mostly in the North, criminal code exists here. And you know the punishment differs. And now, to the issue you brought up, the issue of community, in Yoruba community. Even if you committed an offense, people, immediately you are arrested.